In this lesson, we're going to talk about exponents. We'll save roots for another time. So, exponents. Here I have an expression that you've probably seen before, 3 to the second power. This 3 is our base. Very important. The big number is the base. The little number up here in the superscript is called either the exponent or the power. What this means is that we are going to take the base and multiply it by itself as many times as the exponent or power tells us to. So here I have 3 being raised to the second power, which means I'm going to take my base of 3 and multiply it 2 times. These say the same thing. So we have here an expanded form, and I want to write it using an exponent and put it into exponent form. So let's think about what is our base in this first example. Well, the number being multiplied is 3. So my base is 3. And how many times is it being multiplied? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what would my exponent be? 6. So my answer here in exponent form is 3 to the 6th power. Let's look at example 2. What would my base be? X. And what would the exponent be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my final answer is x to the 8th power. Awesome. Let's try number 3. What would my base be? 2. And what would the power be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my final answer is 2 to the 5th power. Remember, this is exponent form. Now, let's practice writing some in expanded form. This can help us when it comes to actually simplifying or evaluating the expression. So, 4 to the 3rd power. What is my base? 4. And what is my exponent? So how many times am I going to multiply my base of 4? 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Remember, we just want expanded form, so I don't actually have to multiply anything. So let's try number 5. What is my base? 2. And how many times am I going to multiply it? 6. So 1, 2, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How about example 6? What is my base? 3. And how many times am I going to multiply it? 4. Wonderful. 2, 3, 4. Now one little note that I do want you to make, somewhere on the side of your handout or on another piece of paper, is when you have an exponent of 0. So I want you to think about this. If I have just 3 to the 1st power, what is my base? It's 3. And how many times am I going to multiply it? Just 1. So I have 1, 3. That's great. Let's think about this. If I have 3 to the 0 power, what's my base? And how many times am I supposed to multiply it? 0 times. So I don't even write my base of 3. What is something that's actually out in front multiplying on it? There's a 1 there, right? So if I don't even write my base of 3, what's left? 1. So any number or anything, any term to the 0 power is 1. Really important for you to remember. If you have something to the first power, it equals whatever the base is, because you write the base 1 time. But if you have something to the 0 power, it equals what? 1. Cool. Let's actually simplify some now. So here we have example 1. What's my base? 2. And how many times am I going to multiply it? 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2. So I actually need to multiply these now because I'm being given the word simplify, or sometimes you'll see evaluate. Either of those could mean to actually multiply this. Remember, if you're being asked to write it in expanded form, you don't actually multiply it, you just write this part out. So here's your expanded form, and now I'm going to finish it off. What's 2 times 2? 4 times 2 would be 8. So 2 to the third power is 8. So let's look at 3 to the second power. Looks very similar, right? 2 to the third, 3 to the second. But what's my base here? This time it's 3. And how many times am I going to multiply it by itself? My exponent is 2, so I'm going to multiply 3 by itself 2 times. And what's 3 times 3? 9. Excellent. Let's try number 3. What's my base? It's 2. Now what's my exponent? 4. So I'm going to multiply my base of 2 how many times? 4. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 4 times. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, and times 2 is 16. So 2 to the fourth power is 16. Next one, 7 to the second power. What's my base? 7. And how many times will I multiply it? 2 times. So 7 times 7 is 49. Why don't you try these examples? Pause the video. All right, 5 to the third power. 1, 2, 3. 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. 4 to the fifth power means 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. You probably need a calculator for this one. 4 times 4 is 16. Another 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 16 is 256. We still have this times 4 over here, and 256 times 4 makes 1024.